the first time I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and the Robert Kiyosaki and his cash flow quadrant. And what's great about it is once you understand a philosophy from a completely different industry, obviously real estate investing, you can bring it back to your field. And when I brought it back to my field, it helped me completely understand the limitation wall and how on the limitation wall, the star quarterback and the rookie of the year on the left-hand side, they're thinking it's all about them. It's all about them. It's all about them. But for you to be able to break through, your team's got to be more important than you. Your vision has to be big enough to be able to support your team. Your team needs to be able to feel like they can reach their goals on your team instead of just helping you reach your goals. And it's just like the whole right-hand side of the head coach and the owner quadrant. It's all about servanthood. It's all about leadership. Hey guys, Wally Olivieri. All right, so what is 24/7 mindset? Most times when you hear 24/7, you're thinking what? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just grinding, hustling. I learned over time, a 24-year career in mortgage and multiple other businesses that I own is, unfortunately, you'll get burnt out. I became an absent father, I became an absent husband, and I became a poor business leader because I was trying to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to build a business, maintain a business. When I learned how to work smarter, not just harder, by doing things the best way it could be done, instead of just simply doing my best, I learned how to work only 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, while I got paid from the business residually 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can do the same. Welcome to the show. All right, we are live, my friends. I am here with a good buddy of mine, Frank Blakeley. I'm tongue-tied all of a sudden. So Frank and I go back even all the way back to like the sales mastery days. And one of the things I'm going to give Frank some crap about is I wonder if he's going to know what I'm going to say. Do you know what I'm going to give you crap about?
No, go for it, because there could be a multitude of things. So
no, yeah. Frank's always calling me out for not wearing socks. And, I think I made a video and he was harassing me about it. So Frank, welcome to the 24/7 Mindset Show.
Thanks for having me. Yes, I do wear socks, and I just had to check if it was, one of the things that's in where you live or not. In California, we wear flip-flops a lot, but we still wear socks.
So you wear flip-flops even sometimes to work, or are you always suited up?
I'm not. You know what? COVID's a weird thing, right? So with COVID coming, I wore slacks, wore the business shirts, and then all of a sudden Zoom meetings. Yeah. And it's acceptable to dress however you are at any moment in time, right? So I still dress up when I go to meetings, but when I'm in the office, like today, I have shorts on. I have shoes, right? But every once in a while there's flip-flop, depending on the weather out. We're in Southern California.
Yeah. So where are you in California, and what mortgage company are you with?
Orange County. So some people don't know where that is. So it's in between San Diego and Los Angeles. It's not Los Angeles, in between the two. So its own county.
Got it. That's funny. Yeah, we definitely know what Orange County is.
Yeah.
So absolutely love that part of town, that part of the world. I think what's also interesting is isn't Orange County right next to Hermosa? Then there's a bunch of small beach towns as you go, in Malibu and all that.
Yeah, so I'm in San Clemente. So San Clemente, it goes all the way up to Newport, Costa Mesa. Yeah. That's Orange County. And then you hit Costa Mesa, and then you start getting to Hermosa and Malibu and everything else that's north there. So that's more Los Angeles.
Yeah, you guys haven't made out there. We're in boring old flat Dallas. So,
but I know you're making it more adventurous.
Yeah, we get to travel quite a bit. Yeah. All right, what mortgage company are you with, and how's your business kind of looking now in 2024?
Yeah, so I'm with Rate Mortgage, back with them after a year and a half away. Been with them for a year. So I mean, there's no complaints. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of twist depending on the market, but happy where the business is going and how there is growth opportunity around the corner as well.
Yeah. So you were with them. How long were you with them? Then you left for a year and a half and you're back. How long are you with
Yeah,
them?
so I was with them for 2.5 years. So
Okay.
during the boom, right? 2000, like late 2019 to just over a year ago, and then went back to my previous company that was purchased by Redfin.
Okay.
And so with the market changes, went over there to go, hey, all right, there's maybe a different dynamic that we can use to help out, and then came back to Rate last year just because more of a better fit for Orange County, the type of loans, the loan sizes, and just speed and process.
Okay. Part of my ignorance, you say rate. Is it G rate or is it just rate?
Oh yeah, that's why. As of July, they are now Rate.
Oh, you were being serious. Okay. I was
Yeah,
like, am
yeah,
I
yeah.
deaf or what am I
Yeah,
missing?
I had to consciously like be prepared for it because it's always been GR. Like
Yeah.
so yeah, because we have like Rate app, it's rate.com, it's at
Oh.
rate.com. So Victor decided to cut the guaranteed because half the people spell guaranteed wrong anyways. Just make it Rate and go forward from there. Yes, that's right.
Got it. It's rate.com. Thank you for
Yeah.
educating me. I should probably
Yeah,
do
I taught you something today. This is awesome.
that.
End the call at this point. Yeah.
All right. So we reconnected originally. I think you joined the 24/7 Mindset Academy, the private Facebook group. You were harassing me on there about my socks, and then we kind of re-sparked a friendship, and we talked more about your concierge business. You're trying to focus on post closing. Have you read the book? Or are you just starting the book, or where are you in the book?
Yeah, I just started the book. So I went through the training courses and now I'm reading the book. Because prompted more so because after going through the videos, and I think a lot of people in the industry, we don't have as much staff as we did at one point, right? So I've always been doing annual review, not always, but part of Todd Duncan, right? Going Sales Mastery, you add on something every year. And, 8 years ago was do your annual review. So that was a big catalyst to level up the business. And now the next step is trying not to be as reliant on real estate agents and partners anymore, but do it in a different capacity. And so now I have a sales assistant that's starting, which is now going like, all right, now I can start really implementing this as an arm. Because I really do. I want to stay focused on my real estate partners because that does absorb more time. But this is like end goal in mind, right? Having 24/7 mindset is end goal in mind in our industry. It is 100%. And so when I'm reading the first couple chapters, I'm like, yep, I feel this. I feel this in a different way, especially like we talked about age, right? 47 years old, 15-year-old son. I'm going like, I need to have an end goal in mind. How is this going to end? And, I go to broker previews and do things that I see guys in my industry that are just doing the same thing and just like, I hate to say it, I just don't want to be one of those guys, like, in my 60s and just kind of grinding it out, hoping I get a business from real estate agents. And even though it's very relational, I just don't want it. Right. I have a different vision in mind. So 24/7 mindset should have it on my wall somewhere.
We'll get you sponsored. So, let's go back, Eric. So one of the biggest goals of this is I've loved your curiosity and I've loved your trajectory. Right. Yeah. I feel like you're definitely a sponge. And what's super cool is like you and I do a Zoom and we talk about, what what your assistants should look like. And I get a text from you a couple of weeks later. Hey, I hired John and here they're starting here and da-da-da. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. There's nothing makes me more happy than an implementer. And that just fills my cup. So let's talk about your journey so people can learn from you so they can implement like you. So you knew me from the industry. The book came out, the academy came out, and then it sounds like you purchased the Client Concierge System. Is that correct?
I did.
The trainings? You did. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, we'll drop in the link below. So it started off being about a 31 video module. Now it's a 52 video module. I keep adding goodies to it. And it's a module where I walk you through the purpose, the process, how to set up the call, the email templates, text templates, voice templates, and how the scripts go for the 7-day call after closing, 30-day call after closing, 6-month call after closing, the annual mortgage review, and the mortgage efficiency checkup. And now what's super cool about it is I've added on the 6-lane highway, if you know that from the book. So the 6-lane highway is most loan officers get their business from 1 lane, which is really realtors. We in the community get our business from 6 lanes, which is realtors, our database, CPAs, financial advisors, family will attorneys, and insurance agents. Obviously, it doesn't take a rocket science. If you get 6 different streamlines of business, you're going to do a lot more loans and have a lot more quality of life than just one simple one. So when you purchased that and you went through that, give me some of your feedback right off the bat. Was it overwhelming? Was it, yeah, this is super easy, this is too elementary? Kind of give me some feedback here.
You know what? It was kind of an in-between, but knowing myself and what we talked about is execution, knowing how much was going to be realistic to implement with the number of clients I have in my database with almost 20 years in the business, right? So when you go into, I'm going to do my annual mortgage efficiency checkups, you're going to do this, when you have a few clients that you do that with every week, that's one thing. But then when the amount is greater, then you're like, I need to get more people. So that part was overwhelming. And then you and I discussed last week that the wealth managers insurance, there was a disconnect from my standpoint on what level of partner would be most applicable with the range of clientele that I have, right? So the goal after you help someone buy their first home is securing it, right? And finding the modes in the unknowns, I think, for the most part, because we plan out and help plan out to help somebody buy a house, right? That's forward thinking with budgets, with credit, with everything else. The other part is the unknown of unexpected things that may or may not come up in someone's life. And so being able to place it in the right spot, because you got these, wealth managers that want a certain amount in their portfolio to work with, potential clients. And then you have these other people that are first-time home buyers that are just starting off, and how do we get to step in? So that helped with clarity of who to reach out to and people that I've worked with as far as wealth management, insurance, to help connect rather than thinking it's just big fish. It's all fish. Yeah. So that was helpful. And then having no other platform has scripts and the videos and training that your system does. That's just reality. I've had coaching for years and years. And with various coaches, I mean, that's how we met, but it really lays out the practical of how to place it, how to call, how to put it into the next step. And that's what makes me so excited, because that was the disconnect. When I hired other people, we was like, hey, do your annual mortgage reviews. They checked up with it, but there wasn't really teeth to it in a way that could help take it to the next step, as far as like, here's what we're going to try to do to help you out. Here's who we're going to introduce you to. Is more like, hey, we're checking in, see how you're doing. Yeah. Want to, hey, do you need any of these expertise, insurance, financial advisor, things like that? Not to really go like protection. Yeah. This is a defensive mechanism to help make sure that you and your family are protected. So that was very helpful.
Yeah, I think it's. Thank you for that. I mean, I think when you look at when you study courses and the Richard Bransons of the world and the different course creators out there in the world, they teach you. They sell a mindset of teach the theory, charge for the execution. So they would have this, like you said, all these courses have like theory in them, but they don't give you the scripts because they want to charge you for like one-on-one coaching and things of that nature. Yeah. So what's cool, I mean, what my proudest things is building that out to where you have absolutely everything and anything that I have at my fingertips on a daily basis. It's in that system. So, and that's a great recipe for someone implementing. And because I don't want to spend my time, effort, and money creating a system for someone that they don't implement anything with and they get no traction. It's like, that does not fill my cup.
Yeah. But I guess I can talk about like failure too in a catalyst standpoint, like why we're here. So I'm in Ryan Grant's market. So he and I are, side by side at broker previews and stuff like that. We hit up a relationship. So 10 plus years ago, when interest rates first go down, I'm going to go get refinances, right? Money's coming in. Ryan stuck to sticking with new partners and adding that partner to it. So as we went into the last 4 or 5 years, when this came up again, I was like, I'm not doing that again. I'm sticking to partners. This is my leveling up period. So now as we get closer to what may start to come as far as, Fed cuts and starting to get maybe the next 2 years of acceleration as far as rates, this add-on with my sales assistant and starting the 24/7 mindset is going great. I've already learned from this, have a good partner basis for real estate agents. The next step is not just to do refinances, but tie it into how we're going to help beyond this long term, right? More sticking to the end goal in mind is, as we get older, this industry is high burnout. It's super, we get to help people. It's very purposeful, but we go through these waves of like, oh my God, does it end? We had capacity issues, then it went to, all right, great, we can breathe a little bit. And then rates start going up. Like, great, I got to make more phone calls. Things like this help with, like, regardless of the market, it gives you activity, right? It gives you activity to help stay in touch with people. So that learning 10 plus years ago from Ryan, and then you and I being side by side, and then seeing you up on stage was catalyst to go, where's the next step to level up, rather than doing what 95% plus of our business does.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that people miss about my business is I started focusing on database in 2019, but I was already doing $100 million in loans. I think 2019, we did like 400 fundings for $100 million. And it was here in Dallas, Fort Worth, and it was great. But back then I had an established team. So I had 4 production partners that I built them up, one was with me 10 years. So it was 9 years. And, we had this great camaraderie, but I built them up to where they can handle everything and anything on the purchase market business. So my realtor relationships from A to Z on those loans, they handle that from A to Z. That freed up my day. That gave me back 6 to 8 hours of my day.
Yeah.
So once you freed me of the shackles of just doing pre-quals and high trust interviews and loan stuff, it gave me 6 to 8 hours back in my day that I turned around and used and built out the Client Concierge team. And that's how 2020, we go from 100 million to 150 million. 2022 22 goes to 200 million and beyond from there. The ability to be able to build on each level is the key. I see a lot of loan officers struggle when they try to do all of it at once.
Yep. No, and it's anxiety ridden because you can't do it all at once.
No.
Right. So my setup is I've had assistant processor, the same one for 18 years. She was my very first assistant in the business. So she manages all the paperwork, the pre-qualifications, the pre-approval, sends out the pre-approval letters, the contact during process. And then I was doing the rain, right? Bringing everything in. So, 120 million 2 years in a row when, refinances, but 60% of that was purchases. When, rates hit the lows, over 40 million so far year to date, but it's a scaling up without burnout, right? Is the next step, is going 15-year-old son, enjoy life, and how can I keep it going down the road? And that's next step.
Yeah. I share this with you, and most people need to understand this is, they say your child leaves when they're 18 years old and they go off to college. And that's the biggest crock of baloney ever. Your child really leaves when they get a driver's license and a car.
Yeah.
It was like, it's crazy. Like when my boys now are about 19 and 17, but when they were like 14 and 15, they were always home. Once they became 16 with cars and girlfriends, they were absolutely gone. They just came in, raided the pantry, and slept and then left again.
Yep.
So you're 1000% doing the right thing by building leverage on your team to be able to grow, while that gives you back your time to be able to focus on your 15-year-old son.
Yeah. And it's more than that. Cause I always think back, like, what would I do over again? Right. And I thought about like insurance, because it's residual. As I build up my clientele, we get residual. We got larger pops as far as like the commissions from a loan origination versus someone doing insurance. but over time it adds up where they're like, all right, I got money coming in all the time. So how can you build the same business atmosphere within the mortgage industry? And it's not just when its rates go down, right? It's not just based on, which was my original trigger, right? I was very good at keeping in touch with clients, but it was when they could benefit from refinance, and that shifted. And now taking that to the next level as far as protection, help them build more wealth and diversity, helps to take my mentality to the next step, in addition, knowing that I can help my clients further down the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool understanding that over 40% of our business, last year was 41%. So far year to date, it's about the same. 41% of our business comes from our database. And we're not doing rate and term refinances. Yeah. There are new purchases, there are second homes, there are investment properties, there are cash out loans, they're buying or downsizing. People's life changes, and just because their rate might be 3%, doesn't mean that you can't stay in their life and get another mortgage, but also add value to them. Yeah. One of the silliest questions I've ever heard was when rates went up to the 5s and 6s back in 2023 or 2022, late 22. It's like, oh, are you shutting down your client concierge system, your team now? I'm like, absolutely not. Why would I do that? Well, you can't get a bunch of refis anymore. I'm like, but they buy other houses. They buy second homes. They buy lake houses. They buy investment properties. They've got friends and family that are looking to buy other houses. Number two. Number three, they have needs in their life that a family member passes away, leaves them an inheritance, and they've got to get to a financial advisor. Like these are ability me to be able to take a referral from my database, refer it to a financial advisor, and receive a referral back from that financial advisor. Yep. So I think it's a huge gap for someone to really think that you can't turn this business into a residual income business instead of an earned income business every month.
Yep. You're the model for it.
I don't know about that, but I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
And I'm saying it in a way that, again, we were side by side 10 plus years ago, right? And we're taking notes on the same training and everything else. And we learned circle cash flow, right? And you adopted it, took it to the next level, and implemented it, right? And that execution is just such a big thing, right? And it's sticking to it. Because I think that's the hard part is everybody, especially after 2 years of somewhat of a drought for a lot of people, they see the rain coming and it's easy to look at that instant gratification. But if you can look at instant gratification and also balance it out with what the long-term process can be, a few hours a week, it ends up bringing your business to the next level and takes out a lot of stress term.
So let's talk about the future, Frank. All right. Yeah. So you've hired another assistant.
Yep.
And what are some job roles? So what I want people to understand is, okay, he's here. And what's your volume now, roughly?
Right now, it's just over 40 million
year to date. So you'll do 90, 100 million a year?
So I'll do probably just over 70 this year.
Okay.
And then,
So 70 million or so year into, at the end of the year.
Yep.
And in previous years, you've done over 100. And so now you're in a position that you've got a great processor and a loan officer assistant aspect of it. So you've got the defensive role handled. And this is where I think most people don't really understand how to build a mortgage team. There's two parts of a team, your offense part of the team and the defensive part of a team. The defensive part of the team, you've got to have your defense first. Most loan officers make a mistake. The number one mistake they make, and they go hire the offensive part of the assistant role. And between you and the offensive part, it's chaos and wild, wild west, and your quality of service goes out the window. So you've done a really good job out of that. I love the self-discipline of it. You focused on building out the defensive part of the assistant and your role support. And now what's the vision for the offensive part of your assistant?
So the new sales assistant is purely past client, do the concierge service, right? And so it's current clients and past clients after closing to manage that part. So I'm still going to be involved in all the realtor relationships. I'm still going to be involved in doing my trainings, my lunch and learns, like everything I can to help stay focused on the purchase side. while he starts to set appointments for me from the backside. So the goal as this gets starting moving, where he starts booking appointments for reviews and setups, so people know what their refinance targets are going into the next couple months, right? So anybody that we funded over the last 2 years, he's going to stay focused on that, booking appointments with me so we can set targets for everybody. So it's not reactionary. So we already have the education plan in place going, hey, here's what costs look like on a refinance. Here's why we should do this rate, this target for pricing, and then set alerts for all of them. And that way they're going right in place when those targets hit. So the more appointments I can get booked up from that standpoint will be taking stuff off my plate, not feeling like I'm losing anything as far as revenue opportunities, things like that. He'll then start gradually shifting into the referral basis with the concierge service, right? Where we start now referring out to financial advisors, insurance. I have to do more legwork over the next 2 months for that, because I got to make sure we have valid partners, people that we can trust to refer to. Then what I see by the end of the year is taking on someone else that's either taking this person that's in it and shifting them over to the purchase side, or hiring somebody else that's licensed that can help out with an assistant role to take that front end initial phone call from real estate partners, show them where the app is, not take an app, just show them where the app is. And then again, after they've applied, my processor pre-approves, then book up the consultation calls with me. So the goal by next year is to have at least 50% of my day booked with appointments from both ends of that, rather than having to touch all the front ends of all of that and then book the appointments myself. So that would be the goal as we go into next year, to shift into $100 million plus. Yeah,
I think that's brilliant, and I'm super confident you can do it. But what the viewers kind of need to understand is he's doing it in a systematic way. He's not trying to do it all at once. And one thing that worked out really well for me is I took the whole mortgage process from A to Z and split it down to 4 steps, really. We do a lead to app, an application, a lead comes in and we call it, we convert it into an application. We do a high trust interview. Some people like to call it a goals and dreams call. Then from there, we collect their documents and pre-qualify them. Then they go find a house and you lock the loan in. All a loan officer does is 4 steps. So when I was building out my production partners on my team, I took those 4 steps and I had them where they mastered the lead to app. Once they mastered the lead to app, once the referral came in, and they had an 80% or higher conversion rate on referrals to applications. Then from there, that became their role, and I started bonusing from that. So then all I had to do was the high trust interview, pre-qualification, and lock and load the file. That's what my day became. Then as they got proficient there, then the second thing was the high trust interview or the dreams and goals conversation. They would do the lead app. They would do the high trust interview. I would do the pre-qualification. I would do the lock call. And that's how you progress through it. And if you do it that way, and whatever your 4 steps are, you feel is for your business, or 3 steps or 5 steps, when you do it that way, they feel like they're growing with you, and they're actually generating revenue for you. I mean, I think every production partner that you want to have a 4x ROI. So for simple math, if you pay them $5,000 a month, you want them to be able to help you generate $20,000 in revenue on a monthly basis. Super easily doable if you do it in a systematic way. If you just simply throw in an assistant and say, hey, shuffle these papers for me, they're not going to be able to generate money for you. And what's great about what Frank's doing is he's building this assistant out where they are an income generating teammate that is focused on helping him be more efficient throughout his day.
Yeah, and I think that star quarterback.
Good job.
We have to understand that at some point when there's trust with our partners built up, they don't care about you as much. They just want to make sure that you're involved in it. So it's funny because having my same process for so many years, people that work with us often enough, they just bypass me and go to her. Because I tell them, she does the paperwork. She's the one I'm going to go ask anyways. If I get too involved in this side of it, I'm going to tell you something that's wrong, and she's going to correct me regardless. So they end up going straight to her. So the goal is to have that same outlet. where I have past clients that go back to her and go, hey, I'm interested in refinance. And they go to my prospect because she's so involved with it, right? And I want that, I want that as much as possible. So kind of a little bit of the control thing when the real estate agent those start to get booked up, it'll be pre-buyer consultation as well as buyer consultations. So buyer consultations will be once they're pre-approved for me to go 30 minutes of going through their process, showing them options and things like that. The pre-buyer consultation will be the fallback. So if they're not ready for the app, the whoever's on the phone can tell that they're kind of pulling back a little bit. Then they can go, hey, by the way, let's book a consultation with Frank, pre-buyer consultation, 30-minute Zoom. We'll go through your dreams and goals and just make sure that you're on point before you get to the next step, right? So that's the initial fallback as I bring out the arm of the star quarterback and kind of leverage it to make sure agents know that we have both sides of this covered. Those that are ready to go and those that still need more information.
So total squirrel moment. Was that explained well in the book? The rookie of the year, then the star quarterback, the head coach, and then the owner quadrants, or not so much?
It was. Yeah, it was. It was. I could relate to it too, especially again, 20 years in the business, feeling it, right? You feel it after a while. We make great money. We have great opportunity. There's nothing like it, but it's a burn. So it was really going like, get to the next step. Where do I want to be? Not at 50, but where do I see my life at 60? Right. That's where the urgency comes in, is feeling those exampps. So I definitely, you explained it well and I related to it. For sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. The original thought, the first time I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and the Robert Kiyosaki and his cash flow quadrant. And, once you kind of understand that, and I got a chance to meet with him once, I got to play golf with him once, but this is like ages ago. He, what's great about it is once you understand a philosophy from a completely different industry, obviously real estate investing, you can bring it back to your field. And when I brought it back to my field, it helped me completely understand the limitation wall and how on the limitation wall, the star quarterback and the rookie of the year on the left-hand side, they're thinking it's all about them. It's all about them. It's all about them. But for you to be able to break through, your team's got to be more important than you. Your vision has to be big enough to be able to support your team. Your team needs to be able to feel like they can reach their goals on your team instead of just helping you reach your goals. And it's just like the whole right-hand side of the head coach and the owner quadrant. It's all about servanthood. It's all about leadership.
So I don't know if I share this with you, but so the person I hired to be a sales assistant, I've known him since he was 10.
Yeah.
His mom was my son's nanny. That's how they met. And he was around us all the time. So he's 19 years old, going to school. And usually I would default to go to, okay, who has the most experience? Who can do all these check boxes as far as like experience levels to kind of fit with the team. And this time I was like, you know what? I just want somebody that I really want to teach, that I really want to go. Like he may never, like he's in a lead role at a fast food restaurant. And he's like, I don't think I can ever get into, a business atmosphere. And I'm like, this is your in. And now I can teach somebody, from ground zero up in a way that may give him an opportunity he may have never had. I don't know. Right. So that's really the mentality with it, is how can I grow it and also help someone else and other people while we're helping other people.
I said it in my book, and I've lived by it for north of a decade. Great teams are built, not bought. Great teams are built, not bought. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're building up your team. And when you build up your team, you've got a massive fingerprint on the culture of your team. So, all right, we're coming up at the end of the show, but I want you to have the last words, Frank. I think you're such an inspiration. You've been around the business a long time. Everybody knows you, thinks very highly of you. And, I'd love to kind of, what words of inspiration? So if someone's watching this, they're like, man, that Frank guy must be a unicorn. He's doing this and this. And like, what words of inspiration do you feel like you can kind of share with the listeners for them to have same or not more success than you?
Well, I appreciate the kind words because I don't think that of myself at all, but I appreciate it because there's so many people better. And I think that's a key, right? You're not always the smartest person in the room. You can always find other people to learn more from. You're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. Those same things, like really going. But I think the coolest thing is that you don't have to do it the same way anybody else does it. You can set your own vision of your own team and how you want to run your business, right? Like, so me, I want to stay engaged. I want like by appointment only, right? That kind of stuff eventually. So that way I can have it all scheduled out because I still enjoy the consultation. I still love showing the aha moments to clients where they go, oh, that's how it works. Or you show me so much more than the other person, right?
Yeah.
Education to clients, education for us is just a big portion of staying in the business long term. Because like we said, I mean, making over $1 million in a year can go away like that. And you have to build it where it's a sustainable business long term that really feeds you as a person. And where you go, 10 plus years down the road, you're like, I think I made an impact, right? And as you get older, I think that resonates more with kids and everything else. Like, what was my impact for what I did for 20 years and who did I help out and how did it help me, right? So I think that's just a key takeaway. And I know your book isn't exactly that, but that's how I'm taking it, right? It's more of this is what I want for my life going down the road, in addition to, building wealth, helping out a lot of people, and being able to donate, do all these different things that come along with that success.
Well, I think one thing and I'll close with this, believe it or not, 24/7 mindset was a vision that I built out back in 2013. And when you think about it, like, I failed at it in 2014. I failed at it in 2015. I failed at it from 16 to 17 to 18. I started being successful with it in 2019.
Yeah.
And that's where I think most people just don't understand. It's like, you're just not going to come out of the gates doing a bazillion dollars and have all the time in the world. You've got to build it. And what's super cool about watching your story is you've taken that step back and you big refi boom that we're about to hit or hitting now. You're not chasing refis. You're still chasing your referral partners. So that takes a lot of maturity. Ryan Grant was definitely well ahead of his time back then. I think he's actually younger than me, but probably younger than all of us.
Yeah,
but he's one of the most brilliant minds I've ever met in the business. I definitely consider him as a friend. Really a great golfer, and
he's good at everything he does. It's like crazy, but yeah,
he's good at everything he does. I've never met a human that is a phenomenal guitar player, great singer, great boxer, great basketball player, great lender. I'm like, do you suck at anything, dude?
Yeah.
But
I'm glad he moved to Utah, by the way.
Yeah. He's like Captain America. That's his new nickname, Captain America.
Yeah.
Good. All right, good. Well, hey, man, I appreciate your time. Keep me in the loop. Obviously, I shared with you the Client Concierge Training Manual. So you got that at your fingertips, and then keep me in the loop, and obviously use me as a resource.
Yeah, this is going to be the time we get it done.
Cool.
Next time that we continue, it's going to get done. Appreciate it.
Frank. We'll see you soon, bud. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
So thank you so much for listening today. It means a lot you took time out of your day. I don't take that lightly. Understand very clearly that you're very busy. With that being said, if you want to continue your journey and learn more about 24/7 mindset, if you're on Facebook, which I'm going to guess you are, then go to 24/7 mindset on Facebook and join the private community. I do coaching tips on there on a daily basis, but from scripts on there to systems on there, models, and the ability to be able to grow and scale a business while you have a quality of life. Hope to see you there.